Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Dread. I'm going to hit y'all with my 2011 NFL Divisional review and my AFC NFC Championship predictions. Now, this past weekend was a barn burner full of good games. One game wasn't really worth watching. It was predictable, a blowout. And one game that was a heart attack game, and I'll get to that one later. But the game that I want to talk about first was the blowout game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears. And with that loss, the Seattle Seahawks proved they didn't belong anywhere near the NFL postseason because they got carved up by Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears offense. They did their thing, and Devin Hester, he pretty much did his thing too. And well, overall, Jay Cutler, he racked up over 35 points over there. Well, he racked up 35 points exactly over the Seattle Seahawks defense. And he's known for cracking under pressure and for getting a little bit sloppy as the game goes on. But they racked up so many points in the first half that they didn't really have to. All they had to do was hope that their defense held, and it did because the final score was, I believe it was either 24-35, 28-35, one of the two. But we'll see how they do against the Green Bay Packers this weekend. And good luck to Seattle Seahawks next year. And as far as my review on the Atlanta Falcons versus the Green Bay Packers, with the Green Bay Packers beating the Atlanta Falcons, they just proved how overrated the Atlanta Falcons were this year. People are like, well, they should go all the way because they're 13-3. Yeah, well, they did. A lot of the teams they faced were nobodies. I mean, teams like not the Chicago Bears, but teams like the Cleveland Browns and the Carolina Panthers. You know, beating teams like that, you don't really get any credibility. But they did a good job in the regular season. I will give them that. But now in the postseason, it's a whole new ball game, and they just proved that. Because Aaron Rodgers, he carved the defense up. He just let loose on him. I mean, they hung in there. I'll give it to them, but they just couldn't stand a chance against the defense of the Green Bay Packers. And Clay Matthews, I believe he got 2 sacks in the game, and that's somebody who the Chicago Bears are gonna have to watch out for, especially Jay Cutler. Now, as far as my prediction for that game, I'm gonna have to say that the NFC Championship this year is gonna be the Green Bay Packers. They just have too many weapons on offense. They got a pretty good running game with Jennings, and they got a lot of weapons, to pass to. They got Donald Driver, and a couple of other good receivers they got to pass to. And I'm predicting that Jay Cutler, he will crack. He's going to be, I hope he doesn't have glass bones because Clay Matthews, he's coming for him, and so is A.J. Hawk and everybody else in the defense. Moving over to the AFC picture, I want to talk about the upset game between the New York Jets and the highly favored New England Patriots. Now, me, by any means, I'm not really that big of a New York Jets fan. Santonio Holmes, he's over there. That's my boy. He's a great wide receiver, and he's a former Pittsburgh Steeler, so thumbs up for that. But I also despise the New England Patriots with a passion because they're such an overrated team. I don't like Tom Brady, even though he's a good athlete. He's just an annoying quarterback, and I don't like him. And because they've kicked my team out of so many different divisions and kept us out of a couple of championships the past couple of years, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it was a good game. It kind of reminded me of like the Twilight Zone because there's a lot of stuff in that game happened that you didn't really expect. Well, for one, the score was 14-3 in the first half with the not the Steelers, but the New York Jets leading 14-3. And Tom Brady seemed like he was having an off game because he coughed the ball a couple of times, especially I think in one of the opening drives for the New England Patriots. Now, Tom Brady, he has a lot of things, but invisible sure is not one of them because I knew that the defense of the New York Jets was going to take it to him, and they did. And Santonio Holmes, he burned him, and so did Braylon Edwards. He burned him too. As long as Mark Sanchez is on his stuff and he gets his stuff right, and he's on 100% of the time, they can win games. Especially with Dane Thomason pounding the ball in there. The running game is pretty good too, and so did Sean Green. And now I want to get over to the game between. This was the game of the week to me because it had so much drama. The rivalry between my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Baltimore Ravens. If you were a fan of either team, that was a heart attack game because that game was really down to the wire because it was so many. That game was just based on turnovers and defense. Offense, it had something to do with it, but not as nearly as important as the defense was because both teams suffered. I think it was 2 turnovers. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers suffered 3 turnovers in the first half. One of them was one of the most bizarre turnovers I ever seen. Was when Ben Roethlisberger got the ball swatted out of his hand by Terrell Suggs. It was 3 seconds where the ball was on the ground. Nobody touched it because the ref didn't blow the whistle. And one of the linemen scooped the ball up and scored. I'm like, what the hell just happened? And it was like there was no whistle blown, so it was a touchdown. And that really did make me mad because I was like, man, Ben Roethlisberger needs to get his shit together and start scoring some damn points. But they got it together because they started taking it to Joe Flacco, the quarterback from the Baltimore Ravens. And I thought Polamalu would get an interception or two, but he did his thing on defense too. And thank God for Emmanuel Sanders for catching that long 65-yard catch at the end of the game, because that's what sealed the deal for it. That's what closed the coffin of the game. That was a barn burner of a game. That was possibly the game of the year. But we'll see what happens in the game between the Steelers and the Jets. And like I said, it might sound a little bit biased here, but I'm gonna go with the Steelers on this one. I say it's gonna be probably about a 7-point game. Rex Ryan. Congrats to them. Congrats to the Jets that they beat us this time. But Rex Ryan will never shut the hell up if they win, especially if they get to the Super Bowl. But like I said, nothing to take away from the Jets team. But they just need that one more push to be great. They're already good. They just need to be great. But can they beat us? Not this time around. But if I'm a betting man, I would have to say that it's going to be a Steelers-Packers Super Bowl, which is going to be like a clash of the Titans. But you guys tell me what you think. What do you think of the Divisionals? Who's going to make it to the Super Bowl this year? And anything else in between sports-related for football. Well, anyway, thank y'all guys for watching. Peace.